On this week's episode of Movie Roll Call, we talk about the movie Sinners. I didn't know if I'd ever see the movie Sinners, and then we get into like Haley Steinfeld's vampire, and what's her line where she's like, "We're gonna kill every last one of you." We delve into my insane fear of movie trailers. I think I'm more scared of trailers than I am the movies. Marina tells us how she would survive the apocalypse.
I know for me personally, if there's still Botox and filler in the world, I'm going to try to survive.
We discuss Wednesday on Netflix.
And I don't just say that because I have had nightmares about him chasing me.
And Agatha All Along.
I feel like I'm not alone when I say I would have liked to see Agatha finger bang death.
I'm actually really sad we didn't watch Weapons before this.
That does look like it's going to be really good.
And I'm also mad at you for not having seen together. But
Okay, well, you guys went on a night when I had to work.
I'm sorry. Okay, but anyways, horror movies, 2025, or in general, we can talk about it. So this is my friend Marina. Marina is joining to talk about horror movies because she is qualified to, as someone who
It's terrifying.
Someone who has brought me into the fold a little bit more with horror, which is not my go-to all the time. But as I've expanded my taste in movies, you've definitely been an ushering.
Oh, the Fall and Bounce of Usher. That's a good one.
The show? Isn't that a show?
It was originally a movie. Vincent Price, I believe, starred in that one.
Okay.
Classic Hollywood horror movie.
Nice. So yeah, horror movies for 2025 so far. The big hitters, we have Sinners.
Definitely Sinners.
Do you consider 28 Years Later horror?
I mean, yeah, technically. That one was kind of a genre-bending adventure. But I would consider overall horror.
Yeah, because what else would you...
I mean, a lot of skulls for it to not be a horror film.
Kind of coming of age.
Yeah.
Drama.
And that's scary too.
Together, Weapons. What else do we have?
Megan. Oh,
Megan
I guess
2.
that one was
Megan
really
2
horror.
is a superhero movie.
Yeah. We lost a good one.
Did we though? Because it was...
Well, it was better than the horror one, but...
Yeah, Megan 2, if you haven't seen it, is worthwhile. It's a good time. As my Letterboxd review says, I do not want to live in a world without Megan 2. It is a campy good time. Which, speaking of, this is a good segue because camp, I feel like I've come to learn, is my favorite segment of horror, which I feel like you've said that it's yours as well. So what is your favorite campy horror movie?
I have several, but I would say my number one would probably be The Final Girls with Thaisa Farmiga. I don't really know how to say her name.
Oh,
from American Horror Story. Yes, Vera's little sister.
From season 1 of American Horror Story.
And season 3.
Well, yeah, probably a lot, but for reference.
But yes, it's like the horror movie within a horror movie. Another kind of, it's very, very campy, very self-aware.
I think you've played us the trailer for that. I just haven't.
I think I may have made you guys watch it. Pretty sure you loved it. So glowing reviews all around.
Oh wait! Is she running through the field?
Yeah.
At the end. Yes.
With the machete.
Yeah.
Close second, Psycho Gorman. I think that one might have been a Netflix original. Evil intergalactic alien overlord ruled by a sadistic little girl. That one's a fun time.
This is one I do not know about.
Or, you guys hated this, so I'm trying to make you watch it. Uncle Peckerhead.
I think I've blocked it out. I don't even recall starting that.
Super, super underrated.
Yeah.
He turns into a demon for like 7 or 8 minutes or something at midnight every night. Just fucks people up. It's good time. He rips out his spine. And he
And
goes on tour with an indie
you've tried to make
band.
me watch this?
Yeah.
I don't
I
feel like
showed
I
you guys
ever...
the trailer, and you were like,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely not.
You're like, nah. Anyways, well, cool. Talking about Sinners, though, since that stands out to me as the biggest and best horror of the year so far. We were kind of ahead of the curve, in my opinion, seeing it. We saw it opening night.
Opening night.
Because we knew it was on our radar. Whereas I feel like word of mouth brought it into like mainstream, and people slowly went and saw it more and more. But I don't know if you remember the first. Do you remember the very first trailer?
Yes.
Probably a year prior, and it's really creepy. It doesn't reference vampires.
No, I remember that because it was very captivating. Because I had no idea what it was going to be about. I was actually a little disappointed at first when they released the next one, and I found out it was vampires. But then, of course, it worked.
Right.
But yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah, because I remember seeing the clip on Twitter of Haley Steinfeld with the blood on her face, and I sent it to you and was like, oh, wait, this is a vampire movie. Because up until that point, the trailers did not indicate that. And then, so we went to see it opening night after we're hearing early reviews saying it was good. And I very distinctly remember during the middle act generational dance sequence, like one of those moments in the movie theaters where you hold your arms out to the people next to you and you look at each other and you're just like,
incredible.
What is this?
But yeah, I think Sinners was super, super interesting because, you know, it was influenced by From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yep.
Classic, great vampire movie, but I do think it really expanded on that kind of setting in a lot of different ways, and I feel like it was more impactful. But
do you have any hot takes about the movie?
Hot takes.
Or well, first, what did you? You're not as big into rating movies, would you say?
No, I'm bad at rating because if I had a good time,
yeah,
it's a good movie.
Yeah, so it's not something you necessarily care about. But if you had to give a score or just...
I would give Sinners a perfect score, whatever number that would be.
Okay.
Not a single note.
Right.
For that one.
Then that's how I feel about it.
Especially Annie. That was her name in the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Loved her.
Yeah.
Loved that she's just a hot bitch. She knew what she was talking about.
Yeah. And she wasn't, I think sometimes with like, what is it, hoodoo that she was practicing, is they can cast it in kind of a weird light in film or in culture, and it was just so interesting to see how they made her the protector.
Right. There's normally such a stigma around things like that, but they cast her in a light where she was more like a pillar of the community. Yeah. Whether or not she got all of the respect she deserved, you know, they didn't get too much into all of that, but at least all of the main characters respected her in a way that you don't typically see.
Do you think that ties into the overall themes of... I don't know if I'm necessarily going to say like anti-Christian, but it seems like there's a balancing act between like free will for Sammy mixed in with the pressure of religion from his dad.
Yeah.
Also the pressure of his cousins for the life that they think he should live, and then also the vampire coming in saying, you know, I've been influenced too, or I've been conquered. Like all these themes of...
Oh, yeah. I definitely like the way they kind of flipped the script with that, where, because in most movies like that, it is the Christian themes that come in, and that's how you have to fight the evil. And this movie showed that, hey, that didn't work at all, but she knew how to fight it, which I just thought that was really cool, you know?
Yeah.
Because you don't get to see that a lot. Normally, she would have been that's portrayed as a different kind of evil, but no, that was the good that they were able to use, and she was the one that helped them figure out what was going on in the first place.
And was kind of the comforter and like the mother-esque figure of that group, like comforting energy. Um, Thinking about horror movies and how I approach them, like especially with the weapons and the buzz that's happening with it right now. Even though I don't like watching the trailer for Weapons, I'm like, oh, okay, so now I need to see this
Right.
because people are saying that they appreciate it for what it is and how good the film is. And that's where I can easily draw the line and say, like, yes, I will go see that movie if people are saying it's well made. So is there any horror movie that you, or type or style or genre, that you don't like?
Um, Not particularly. I think most of them can be good in different ways. The only thing, ones that take themselves too seriously. Because every now and then you get a horror movie that's just like doing too much and there's not enough humor in it, because that's what I think is so good about most horror, especially current horror films. Like over the last few years, I feel like there's been kind of a shift where they've started kind of subverting expectations and leaning into the camp a lot more, like in the
Yeah,
mainstream, which just elevates it and makes, if you can have those moments of levity even in a more serious film, it just kind of helps round it out and
right.
gives you a fuller experience, I guess.
Yeah, and I think as again someone who's not like always in it to be like completely scared and doesn't appreciate those aspects of it to the same degree as other people. I also like the levity. I'm trying to like Sinners has that. There's like a few
Mm-hmm.
chuckle moments. You get invested in the characters. Recently watching Together, like Dave Franco and Alison Brie have that. There's a whole portion in the middle act where serious stuff is happening, but then there's like funny responses. Um, and that kind of locked me in fully to that movie and made me appreciate it. But yeah, I'd say for me, I want to be able to see a symbolic, deeper meaning in the horror movie, or none at all, and just be having a campy good time.
Right. Like
But
that.
stuff that falls in the middle, house invasions, stuff like that, I'm just not like.
And I feel like a lot of the house invasion ones, that's more into thriller territory. And
That's true.
those are less exciting to me.
Yeah.
I need some paranormal.
So where? Okay, so does paranormal draw the line for horror for you? or
Typically,
or
it's
is it how it's because like a strangers movie with home invasions and it's like brutal?
yeah, and those I don't like the overly brutal movies like that. Because don't get me wrong, I love a slasher film, which I feel like is a completely different subsect of the horror genre, like Scream,
Right.
the quintessential, slasher franchise. Those are fun, but the two people being psychologically tortured in their home and then physically tortured in their home over the
Yeah.
course of 2 hours in super super
Not fun.
gruesome ways. I don't love
Yeah.
those types of horror movies. Even the Terrifier movies, which are ridiculous and over the top. At least the gore is campy.
Yeah.
So it's so ridiculous that it
You don't
kind
have
of breaks
to
that up a little
pretend, I
bit.
guess.
It's not like torture porn because I don't
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. No, I definitely need either or. Two
Mm-hmm.
camp or um, has something interesting to say. And
Yeah.
I think Sinners, I think Together, it sounds like Weapons, they all have interesting things to say. Um, Together specifically, we need to go see it together, honestly. I'd probably watch it again. Um, One of my favorite things about that one is watching it, the themes were almost confusing. Like you kind of think you know what the overarching theme of the movie is because it's a lot about like codependency and tension in a relationship, and then the end scene happens, and you're kind of like, how does that play into the overall themes? And it was kind of like this little puzzle that I got to work through. And once it clicked for me, I really liked it. I thought it was beautiful. I thought the movie itself was well made. What could have been like a cheesy, silly plot was kind of in the background, and it's there and it still progresses the plot. But Dave Franco and Alison Brie focus so much on who they are as characters that it's very in sync to me. So I want to go see it with you so we can get your thoughts on that.
Absolutely, because I really want to see that. And we'll watch anything with Alison Brie in it.
Yeah.
Anything.
No, I agree.
She could drink a bottle of
probably
water for an hour and a half.
Would you consider Alison Brie underrated? Because I do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously she's getting more of her flowers now, but I just feel like I don't hear a lot of people talk about her, whereas I've been paying attention to her for years. Because I think I've never seen her have a miss on anything.
Community, Together Now. I'm trying to think of other big things she's been in.
Wait, when was she in Scream?
Scream. Was she Scream 2? She plays, is it Courtney Cox's, like, publicist? Does she have a publicist?
It's been so long since I've seen the second one. I don't watch that one.
Or is she, like, a news? Is the second one where they're at the school?
Yeah.
I've only seen it once. Yeah. She's definitely in that one. I feel like she dies in a hallway. I think. I don't know. You probably know her from a lot more things, so it's just blending. But yeah, over the past week, talking about Together, specifically her marketing with Dave Franco and like all the stuff they're doing, I've heard quite a few people say like, oh, like what else is she in? And then they go look at her thing and it's like, oh, she's been in a lot. Why don't we know her more? But I feel like if you've seen Community, then you know who Alison Brie is. But yeah, she steals that movie. Dave Franco's good. Alison Brie is amazing.
I would expect
in my
nothing
opinion.
less.
Yeah. Other movies. You were a pre-existing fan of 28 Days Later, correct?
Yes.
And remind me how you felt about 28 Years Later.
At first, I wasn't sure, because throughout the movie, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's like each act is almost kind of a different movie.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, I feel like I really appreciated it, and I liked the tonal shifts that it had, and the closure with his mom. Love Jodie Comer. But I thought, like, okay, instead of doing a full movie where it's just them running from the zombies, I thought it was really interesting how they started with that, and then they showed some of the other terrifying things about what living in a world like that is like.
And it's like you said earlier, horror is doing a weird thing where other genres are maybe a little bit more stuck in a box where they're recycling old material or they're remaking things. Horror, I feel like, is the medium right now that is driving original movies that people are seeing.
Oh, absolutely. Because I feel like horror has historically, like, had a lot of undertones of, you know, real life events and stuff. It's a fun way to tell it, but I feel like for the last several years, it's becoming more prevalent, and they're getting more into it, and the metaphors are more spread throughout the story. It's not, oh, here's this one big takeaway that we wanted you to have from the vampire movie. They're telling, like in the case of Sinners, like generations long stories through the medium of the vampires and stuff. And I think it's just really interesting how, as a genre, that's happening all over the place. Like all of them. It's what, even the ones that in the trailer where it seems like, oh, this is going to be a silly, fun little horror movie, and then you're crying halfway through it. So right. Like, oh,
or there's some camp ending twist.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, but I was really trying to focus in on what you and Becca thought about 28 Years Later, because I feel like you guys were the long-standing fans of the movies, whereas the other people we saw with either hadn't seen the originals or were like me and had just watched them recently. And Becca did not seem to like where they took the movie. For me, I enjoyed it. Like you said, the 3 different acts of like zombie chase movie to coming of age into campy whatever we landed on, I thought was super interesting, made for an entertaining watch, and we all kind of just left having a good time because it was an experience. now knowing there's a part 2 coming out in, I think, January or February, I think how I feel about this movie depends on that movie too. But a movie should still stand on its own, and I think it does right
Oh yeah.
now. It's a little weird with the pacing and like where you're at by the end of the film, but I think overall, um, like you said, it's kind of a hard hitting. There's a deeper theme there about death and growing up and all that stuff. But how did you feel about the? I don't think this was known prior to this movie that like the rest of the world is fine. It's just the UK that is.
I I thought that was really interesting. I didn't expect that. Um,
Does it take
but
you out at all?
not really. To me, I think that's very poignant, especially right now in the world. It's like the themes of like the isolation where everything's so terrible, and then you find out, hey, it's actually not like this everywhere else.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
and
it's rainbows and sunshine
yeah,
somewhere else.
and you guys are the only ones having to deal with this right now. I think
Yeah,
that's very timely.
yeah,
Um, and also, I feel like it also gives a little bit more of a glimmer of hope for like the protagonists of that story. Like, hey, maybe the world's not going to be like this forever. Like, maybe we just got to get off the island.
I almost felt the opposite. Like the soldier says that they can basically never leave, and we're dealing with this deep sense of um, mortality and death, and like how finite they make it seem in the film seems like it should be a movie where the world is done or gone. Like, I mean, The Walking Dead, it's very clear. Like, the world is non-existent. There is no like future. Basically, you're just living in this now. Whereas this, they give you that hope of it, but then you're still dealing with this interesting theme of the Bone Temple and what does it mean to die and like remember someone who dies, um, while also being given that humorous twist with the soldier showing us his like lip
Instagram model.
filler girlfriend. Like very interesting. But I respect the big swings that movie definitely takes.
And I think part of that is supposed to be up to the viewer to decide, is it better or worse that there is more on the outside. But I know for me personally, if there's still Botox and filler in the world, I'm going to try to survive.
You're gonna arm yourself,
Oh,
equip yourself.
I'd get us out of there in 2.5 days.
Amazing. Moving on to, again, I don't defining the genre. Do we consider Wednesday and the Addams Family horror, dark fantasy, horror adjacent?
I consider it dark fantasy goth with a little bit of horror sprinkled in.
So
But
what?
overall, I wouldn't call it a horror
So overall,
story.
what the? I mean, oftentimes Tim Burton gets his own like labeling, but Gothic.
Like, it's essentially Murder, She Wrote, but for young kids who like to wear eyeliner.
With like a small amount of like a Disney twist.
A little bit, yeah.
Even though it's on Netflix, does it not sometimes feel like even just like 25%? And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a palatable thing probably for general audiences, and why Wednesday season 1 was like a big hit.
Yeah, because I do wish they'd lean into the horror a little bit more.
And
But
you can
it's
tell
not
Jenna
HBO.
Ortega wants them to as well, and I feel like I'm seeing her play the dying aspects of Wednesday well, but then at the same time I'm seeing her as an actor being like,
I'm an adult.
I'm supposed to hate this, but I also hate this as me.
Right. No, I feel that because Well, it's like, because it's been, what, 3 years since season one. Um, and
Really?
when I looked today, it said it came out in 2022, which makes sense. That sounds like when
2022.
I watched it.
Yeah.
Um, and so she filmed it before that, and now here we are years later. Um, and obviously, it's still supposed to be the same character, but she's growing as an actor and a person. And
But you can
she,
tell she likes the role, and she said that she. What is she on season 2? I think she's an executive producer.
mm,
So she has a little bit more control because she's been vocal about hating the boy crush storylines, the love
yeah,
triangle in season 1. She didn't want it. So
yeah,
for
that
the
was very out of character. I
right,
think everybody agrees with her on that one.
yeah, and I mean they've gotten around it for season 2 because Hunter Duhan's character is evil, and they wrote off the guy who had some scandal in real life,
Oh, yeah.
and honestly mentioned him more than I thought they would, because like you said, it's been 3 years. Who really
Yeah.
cares?
It wasn't until I think I don't know if I saw a picture of him or something or maybe it was when I googled the cast, because after I watched the first episode, she gives her the painting and I'm like, who are they talking about?
Yeah.
Who gave her that painting? Am I supposed to remember? Because
I don't.
but I googled and I was like, oh.
Yeah, Xavier, one of the like love interests, I guess. But they did humorously play into the like what it's like he gave you a cell phone, and then it cuts to her like boiling the phone.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I feel like so you've both seen almost both of the first 2 episodes of season 2.
I've seen
1.5.
maybe 1.25.
I feel like episode 1 started really slow.
It did.
And a little random. Like I wasn't in step with whatever they were delivering.
Yeah, I could see that. It definitely felt like a little bit of a rocky start. And trying to get back into it, I really should have just rewatched the first season so I could be like invested in the characters like I was by the end of that season. But one good thing it is giving us so far, at least, is more Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah, and I think I wrote that down.
I'll never complain about that.
Yeah, because even while Jenna Ortega again, I'd say maybe like good in the role. I feel like Catherine is just like a little bit. It's also the character, but she's a little bit more magnetic.
Mm-hmm.
She has some of that like. Why am I blanking on her name? This is making me mad. Hella. Mm-hmm. Hella's actress.
Cate Blanchett.
Cate Blanchett. Guys, I know her name. That's really sad because I love her and I love that performance. But speaking of like aura, I see a little bit of that in Catherine's performance as Morticia. Just like I almost want to do like a nail clacking. It just seems aura filled, and it's like when you described an actress's performance as delicious, like that's just
she's elegant,
yeah,
captivating, poised.
Yeah. I agree. But yeah, it started off a little bit slow, and then they drew me in a little bit. The cello will always get me.
And that's the scene where Billie Piper comes in. Oh my god, I love Billie Piper.
In this season?
Yeah, in the first episode, and when she's playing her little cello.
Oh,
the music teacher. That's Billie Piper.
Okay. Yeah, because as the first episode's like trying to kick into gear, I was thinking about what made me lock in for season 1, and it's either episode 1 or 2. She goes up on her balcony of the castle and she starts playing the cello while they overlay like other things that are happening, and that's I feel like when you hone in and you're like, oh, okay, like we got this. And then I think does she play it again, or they play it over the town scene when she's like setting something on fire? Like she's just doing something badass in season 1 with that overlay. I think I missed the town a little bit. Even it's only been 2 episodes and I haven't seen them go into the town, but I think I liked it made the atmosphere a little bit bigger,
Mm-hmm.
and we haven't seen it yet this season, so I feel like maybe that's what I'm missing. Um, but yeah, it definitely started slow. End of episode 1 is good though, when she burns the painting, right?
Yes.
So for a second I was like, am I spoiling the episode? No, when she is like, stop idolizing me, and then it's like
I do
sets the
love
play.
that. Um, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Um, because I feel like he's going to end up being scarier. And I don't just say that because I have had nightmares about him chasing me before he appeared in this show.
Yeah.
Um, but there's something going on there.
And so overtly, like they haven't even been. There was no like subtle buildup. It just is the introduction scene of him with, is it Bianca, the siren, whatever the siren's name is. That scene where she meets him, is that episode 1?
Yes, I think so.
Just make sure I'm not spoiling still. And he's just like, yeah, you're gonna be my little bitch, basically.
Yeah, I do feel like that's a misdirect, but like maybe he's an asshole, but I feel like they're trying too hard to set
Yeah.
him up as the villain.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I feel like we're gonna feel that way about probably 6 more people
Right.
before the show's over. And also just the overarching Edgar Allan Poe themes they've got going on with like the birds, his portrait on the wall, the telltale heart.
Yeah.
Which they changed that a little bit, but I'll be interested to see what they do with that.
They're with the Ravens.
Um,
Speaking of Edgar Allan Poe, have you read the Hunger Games books? Do you read the Hunger Games books?
I think I did when I was younger. Not since the movies came out.
The newest book has a lot of references to Edgar Allan Poe in its themes, and they recite the Raven. Is that what the poem's called?
Yeah.
Or Nevermore?
I think it's called The Raven.
Okay. Yeah, I really like the ties in that, and I'm very excited for that movie. But it's very interesting how they tie that in.
Because I am a fan of that. Because believe it or not, I did have the entire works of Edgar Allan Poe as a child that I bought at the book fair.
Oh wow!
So I have read a lot of them.
Heck yeah! Sweet. But yeah, if you haven't seen episode 2, I mean, my biggest call outs were just, I don't know if you got to the part with Hunter with the hide. I don't know if you've seen the like promotional images where he's locked up and he's chained to the wall.
I don't know if
you should look it up. It's very good.
Good to know. Good to know.
But yeah, I mean, overall, so far, it's not hooking quite as fast for me as season 1, so I'm interested, especially with the split premiere, since Netflix likes to do that now.
And
see how it goes.
And also, I know we got to see a glimpse of her on a painting, but Gwendolyn Christie is gone, and that she was, I feel like, what first got me into the show. Like the first character where I was like, oh.
Like, at minimum, at least we still have some kind of Lady Gaga appearance.
That'll be interesting
at some point.
And Joanna Lumley will be joining us at some point as well. I don't know if it's in the first few episodes or the last half that's coming out later, but
yeah, we'll see how it goes. There is a moment in episode 2 that I wrote down that I feel like steals something directly from Agatha all along, unless I'm mistaken, and this is like a common trope, but the tower sequence in Agatha with the swords that fall and then pulls down. Have you seen that in other films?
I mean, I don't know if I've seen it exactly like that, but swords and stuff from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that may have been in the Scooby-Doo movie, but
it was, I think. Or they were going towards a wall with swords on it.
Right.
On the roller coaster at Spooky Island.
Yeah.
Daphne.
I love those movies.
Oh, and then there was the pendulum.
But yeah, touching on Agatha, because I feel like Agatha is another one where it has horror elements from the past year, but it's probably a little bit more like dark fantasy, a little bit gothic. But I know you and I both enjoyed that. In terms of what the MCU is doing, how did you feel about the inclusion of Agatha and the way they approached the genre of that show?
I felt like they did as good of a job they could do with it being owned by Disney.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have loved to have seen a slightly darker
Yeah.
version of that, but they camped it up enough that I think it was really good. But and honestly, I would have loved the sapphic undertones to have been overtones.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they could have done a lot more. I do feel like they surprised me with how present they were with the romance in that show.
Yeah.
Because by episode like 2 or 3, when you know it's there, it was almost like, all right, I'm sure this isn't gonna come to fruition, and then it does genuinely surprise me that they took it there.
Yes, I was pleasantly surprised that we did get that.
But that's the minimum bar we need to raise for the.
Even if it was in a flashback sequence, I feel like I'm not alone when I say I would have liked to see Agatha finger bang death. I know that I'm not the only one who feels that way.
Surely not. Oh yeah. In terms of, I don't know, is there any upcoming horror that we haven't talked about?
Wasn't there? Didn't we see another preview for something coming out soon, or was it just that one, the weapons or whatever?
I feel like there was Shelby Oaks one.
Oh, I didn't see a preview for that. I feel like that's gonna be interesting.
You know what I've learned is that I think I'm more scared of trailers than I am the movies.
Yeah,
because they're summarizing the feeling that they want you to have for the movie in 2 minutes, and putting all of that feeling into one short time span. They work, they do their job, but I just hate them.
Yeah. That's fair because that's what they did with the Paranormal Activity movies. And if you've seen the trailers for those, you've seen every scary thing that happens in the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because other than those little minutes, nothing happens in those movies.
Yeah.
So
okay, there's a hot take, maybe.
So they really have to condense it down to get you to go see it.
Yeah, but I don't feel that way with Sinners, especially the first trailer being so creepy. I think it was just one of the guys coming up and knocking on the barn door, and then it's doing these like sharp music screeches and switching the visual, and then all of the people dancing, and before you know, that's like a generational music sequence because you haven't seen the movie. It just looks like a bunch of people like, I don't know, like summoning demons or something. Like it felt very eerie and heavy in the first trailers.
And because there's like the snippet of him talking about like seeing evil or something.
Yeah, it's the dad's voice.
Over the trailer as well.
And then you watch the movie, and the themes are still deep, but you have the vampires like can't be jumping, and there's humor and there's music, and it's so much more diverse than what the trailer made it seem like, which was like this delve into darkness almost that transparently like made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To the point where I didn't know if I'd ever see the movie Sinners, and then we get into like Haley Steinfeld's vampire, and what's her line where she's like, "We're gonna kill every last one of you."
There's that one. That wasn't my favorite of her lines. But that was a good one. And I feel like that movie reiterated something that everyone should still know to this day. Stay away from banjo music. It's never good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Do you have any horror related questions?
Um, I don't know if I have any questions.
Oh, I have another one actually. What is the first horror movie that you remember loving?
That I remember loving. Oh, that's a tough
Or a
one.
few?
Um, oh, this one I feel like is kind of obscure. It might have been a made-for-TV movie, and I wasn't supposed to watch it. But it was The Mangler 2, and it is about.
Important detail. Number two.
It is. I think it's from the '90s. And it's a bunch of high school kids, and they go to a really high-tech high school with like a super advanced security system that becomes sentient.
Okay.
And it starts killing them. Like it closes the bleachers on one guy, crushes him. At one point, this blonde girl's just standing there, and she's like, "Oh my god, what are we gonna do?" And wires just drop from the ceiling, shaped like in a loop, and just grab her, just yank her up into the ceiling. But when I was little, it was terrifying.
Right. But you like couldn't look away.
Yeah, I did watch the whole thing.
Do you like the Final Destination movies then?
I like the first one, and then I also liked the second one. And after that,
I haven't seen them honestly.
Those after that, they're still enjoyable, but it kind of not to the same degree. But I feel like it gets to almost Saw levels of ridiculousness,
Yeah.
where it's so over the top, and I can watch them, and it's like, oh, this is a fun little bloodbath, but it's not like they're not as compelling as.
So I haven't seen Saw. So does it take itself back to what we were speaking on earlier? Does it land itself in taking itself too seriously? Is it trying to be campy? Is it miss somewhere in the middle?
They just kind of drop any semblance of a plot.
And just hurt.
Like especially the Saw movies, yeah. Like the first one, there's like a story there. Even the second Saw movie, there's okay, you see what's going on, but then the plot twists get so ridiculous, and it's just completely like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares who's killing you guys now? I don't.
I get that. Okay, cool. So I have some audience questions, unrelated to horror, but we can go through them. Movie question. What is a movie you could watch all day?
Bridesmaids.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Or House Bunny. I actually did spend like a year and a half where I watched that every day.
I don't know what I would choose for this. I have a problem with. I barely rewatch. I'm better about rewatching movies than especially TV shows. I don't reread books. I know a lot of people who like have comfort things that they serial watch. I'm not really good at that. But movies, I feel like it have to be a comedy because anything else you just kind of get. I'll say the movie that I've seen probably the most in life is probably Pitch Perfect, ashamedly.
I mean, that's a good one.
I feel like that was a defining movie of the 2010s.
I would agree with that.
And when it first came out, it still is. I think it holds up. It is just like balls to the walls funny. The end sequence in the audition room when it just like swirls down into a mess, the throw up, the butt grabbing, the screaming.
My real name is Fat Patricia.
Yeah, like it's just good. Golden.
I have one more that I almost forgot.
Okay.
This one's an important honorable mention. Oh my god. I just lost it. Hold on.
Genre?
It's Hilary Swank. That one where her husband dies. P.S. I Love You.
Oh, okay.
P.S. I Love You. I watch that all the time. I once had several drinks and made someone sit through, I want to say, a 25-minute long synopsis of the movie that I gave verbally. Beautifully, I might add.
Yeah.
Kathy Bates gives a stunning performance as per usual.
I need to add it to the list.
And it's very sad, but
Okay, I think I know the answer to this one, and it may bleed into a little bit of our horror conversation. TV question: who is your favorite TV show character?
Buffy,
I know it, which I also still need to watch.
especially before the reboot comes out.
Yeah,
Um,
but I do appreciate Sarah Michelle Gellar, so I definitely would like to watch it. But I figured that would be your answer. We have talked about a lot. For me, TV show character. That's hard. I might be really basic and say Rachel Green.
I love Rachel.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with liking Rachel.
Defining character on Friends. They're all pretty equal for the most part. I feel like she drives most of the plot lines. Love Rachel. Marvel related question. Do you think? Oh, hello. Do you think that the MCU is back, or has it been fine since Endgame?
Wait, I don't understand the question. Has it been fine since Endgame?
So, okay, I have to explain the cultural phenomenon, I guess. Since Endgame, on the timeline, Endgame comes out 2019. We go on a little bit of a pause. Nothing comes out until WandaVision in 2021. Meanwhile, we also have COVID going on. So life changes. There's a very clear split, I think, in people's minds of life is post and or pre and post Endgame, in life and movies. But especially for Marvel, there's a lot of comparison. You'll hear a lot of people, this is my favorite thing since Endgame. Where have we gone wrong since Endgame? All that conversations. So there's a lot of people who feel like Marvel has fallen off to some degree, to all degrees, since Endgame culminated the Infinity Stone arcs. And so it started in Phase 4, like WandaVision through, I don't even know where that lands, like Thor, Love and Thunder. People started to complain about the quality of Marvel projects. And then, we get into Phase 5, Ant-Man 3 sucks. There's a few misses back to back, and a lot of people are like, superheroes are dead, Marvel's dead. It's never been that dramatic. They're not that gone. But I think the audience specific question is just, is Marvel back on track, or did you not see it go off track? Did you enjoy stuff since Endgame?
Maybe it's because I'm not as invested, but since Endgame, I mean, there was WandaVision, like you said, Agatha, we saw Thunderbolts. All of the stuff that I've watched from Marvel since then has been great.
But did you see Spider-Man No Way Home?
Yeah. Oh my god, I loved that.
Did you see Shang-Chi, Eternals?
I didn't see the first one. I did see the Eternals. Also, unpopular opinion, I liked the Eternals.
I love the Eternals.
Angelina Jolie with super god dementia, like running around, like that. That's entertainment.
And so it's acted so well. I get really annoyed because I don't feel like people's criticisms are. I think they're a little hypocritical, where they'll be like, we want Marvel to do new things and explore outside of the typical genres, and then they give us something like Eternals and it gets roasted. And it's like, yes, it was a slower, like, I don't even know how long the time span is, like basically a millennia. It's like an Odyssey. It was an epic, basically, given the time span. But my favorite thing about Eternals is, one, the cast. Two, they let all of the characters sit with the feelings of what happens. So when Ajax dies, they do basically a tour. We get to see every character process the fact that Ajax is now gone. And then the betrayals. Like, it just feels like we sit with the calamity of each of the, like, interpersonal things, and then the stakes get really big at the end, and it is one of my criticisms, if only, of the movie. I love that movie.
I feel like that's a pretty good encapsulation of why Marvel fans as a whole don't like a lot of the more recent stuff, is because it explores more things like that, the emotional aspects and the things you don't typically see, because they're not just typical superhero storylines. There's a lot more investment into those themes. I feel like that's probably what's causing a lot of the criticisms. People like that.
I mean, people have given Eternals low scores, and I am not here for it. In terms of genre, though, for the MCU specifically, I do wish that they would, like, they made a whole big ordeal about Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness being Marvel's first horror film, and I wish that they had pushed that deeper. I wish that they had not had Scarlet Witch as the main villain. I have a lot of feelings about that movie, but when I feel like Phase 4, they do really push into different genres, and they take some swings. I wish they'd go even further with that, because I think DC is about to with James Gunn. He's the way he's saying it is basically the directors are free to do whatever they want with their projects, um, and it's definitely gonna earn them some points, I think, with audiences as we move into this next definitive era of superhero movies. It feels like, I don't know if you agree with that. It feels like a shift. Superman, Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, like, it feels like we've shifted into a new space for superhero films. Next question. Who do you feel is the most underrated actor or actress? And we did touch a little bit on this with Allison Brie.
Just overall?
Do you have, like, is there an actor or actress that you care about that you feel like doesn't get the accolades that they deserve?
I have so many examples of this, but now that I'm gonna have to think of one, hold on. For one, okay, I've got one.
Okay.
Judy Greer.
Okay.
Because she's in a ton of stuff, and she's another one that's super, super good in anything. But I think it's even like a running joke that, like, people never remember what her name is, which is crazy because she's literally Violet from Jawbreaker. So I'm gonna go with Judy Greer.
Judy Greer. I think I'm gonna go with. I do think she gets a little bit of accolades, but Elizabeth Olsen. Not just saying that as an insane Scarlet Witch fan, but I feel like Elizabeth Olsen, to not have been nominated for a lot of big awards thus far, is crazy to me. I feel like she gives some of the best performances in the MCU, but then her other projects, I appreciate. She picks a diverse mix of, like, big, small. His Three Daughters. I don't know if you watched that. With
I've seen clips
Natasha,
of that, because I do love Natasha
and Carrie Coon.
I do.
Incredible.
I remember that being good. And also that other movie that's based on a true story, because I feel like anybody who can play a universally beloved superhero and also an axe murderer, I feel like there's range there.
Range. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me to talk about horror today. And listeners, follow along for more, and thanks for joining. Oh, come on, Loki.